Hi, my name is Jennifer Hancock, and I am responding to Honest Theist's Revelations 001 series, I think it is. He asked a very important question, and that is, and it seemed to be sincere, so I'm going to respond to it. I mean, it's a good question. Why do when non-theists talk to people of faith, why do we ridicule them? And it's a good question because it is a problem. And the simple, easy answer is that because when you're proselytizing to us, most of the time what you're saying sounds ridiculous to us. And when you push, and you push and you push and you push, and what you're saying sounds ridiculous, eventually we're going to tell you you sound ridiculous to us. I understand to you sound, what you're saying makes sense, but to us it sounds ridiculous. When you're not proselytizing to us, we can get along with you just fine. It's only in the context of you trying to convince us that we're wrong or we're missing something that the ridicule comes out. Okay, that's the first thing you need to know. We get along just fine with theists when theists respect our right to believe differently. Okay. Now, for honest theists, let me try and explain this to you. What's going on? If God is obvious to you, it's really hard to comprehend how someone like me can look at the very same universe and not see God in it. And I think it's your disbelief that in our disbelief that's causing the problem. You're having trouble understanding or even comprehending how we could not believe. And so you don't accept it. And what normally happens is, and this is from my own experience again, if I tell someone I don't believe, I'm now subjected to about 15 to 20 minutes of being asked repeatedly, so you really don't believe? Really? You don't believe? It's seriously really annoying. For those of us like me who don't believe, God is not obvious. And not only is God not obvious, there's literally no way that beings such as gods, as they are commonly conceived, could actually exist. What people normally talk about when they talk about God is not something that could possibly exist in the universe. All right? The best I can do, and people like me can do, is when you talk about God, when you people of faith talk about God, is I have to translate the word God into something that does make sense. It's something that could possibly exist. And the best I can come up with is like space aliens. Space aliens visited the Earth thousands and thousands of years ago, and ancient people thought they were gods because they had better technology. They could fly in the air, do whatever. But that's clearly not what you're talking about when you say the word God. So there's a disconnect. Like, I literally don't know what you're talking about when you say the word God. For me, because I don't know what you're talking about, because I can't even conceive of a God existing the way you people of faith have described it to me. Like, I can't even conceive it. God is a generic term. It refers to a wide range of characters from a variety of ancient stories, and for me to understand what you're talking about when you as an individual talk about God, you have to be more specific for me, because I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I literally don't know. Are you talking about Thor? Are you talking about Vishnu? Baal? Amet? Which God are you referring to, and what are his traits? Because until you tell me, I don't know what you're talking about. You could be talking about anything. You could be talking about a pig god that has minion pig angels that are invisible and protect your car when you drive. Okay, for all I know, that's what you might be referring to when you use the generic term God. This is where the ridicule comes in. It's because whenever someone tells me that they believe in God, and I accept that they do, even though it doesn't make any sense to me. I accept that when people tell me they believe in God, they do. But when they get specific, they might as well be telling me that they believe in invisible flying pigs, because it's as likely, what you're describing as God is as equally likely to me as the existence of invisible flying pigs. Sorry. I feel bad about that, but that's the reality for me. The things that are described as gods are so unlikely that they're as likely as invisible flying pigs existing. And I suspect that disconnect is the same for almost all atheists. We don't know what you're talking about when you tell us it. It's ridiculous. So when people tell me what they really believe, it's really hard for me not to respond with you believe what? What are you talking about? That couldn't possibly be. It takes, seriously, it takes an amazing amount of self-discipline for me to not respond like, what? You're crazy. All right? It's really hard for me to be polite, and it's really hard for me to rein in my inner snarkiness if you refuse to accept that I don't believe what you believe. And I know the fact that I don't believe is as ridiculous to you as your faith is to me, but I at least accept that you believe what you believe. And if you're a nice person, I'm fine. You can believe anything you want. I really don't care. But it never seems to be okay with people of faith that people like me don't believe as you do. And this is where I think the snarkiness and the ridicule comes out. Because when someone who doesn't believe says openly that they don't believe, they're subjected to people of faith trying to convince them otherwise. And if you're going to keep at me about why I don't believe and why I should believe as you do, I'm eventually going to tell you why I don't believe, and you're not going to like my response. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't believe what you believe because what you say you believe sounds ridiculous to me. And there's no nice way for me to say that. It's insulting to tell you that I think what you believe is ridiculous. Now, the problem gets worse when you really, really push the issue. When you go into details, the apologetics, the attempts at conversion, the revelations that Honest Theists put out. Look, every time you try to rationalize your beliefs to me and try to explain how rational your beliefs are to me, all you're doing is trying to rationalize why your particular invisible flying pig is real and all the other ones aren't. And that just makes it worse. It makes it worse. I mean, seriously, it makes it worse. The more you go on and try to rationalize, the more ridiculous you sound, because you're trying to rationalize the existence of invisible flying pigs to me. Seriously. And the more you go on, the harder it is for me to not respond and tell you what I really think, which I'd really rather not do, because I know it's going to insult you. But if you keep pushing me, I'm eventually going to get exasperated, and I'm going to tell you what I really think, which is that what you believe is ridiculous to me. And I understand that what I don't believe is also ridiculous to you, and I'm fine with that. I accept that. And trust me, I have a lot of friends of faith that I hang out with on a daily basis. And the reason I'm able to be friends with them and they're friends with me is because I don't care what they believe. It's fine with me. If it makes them happy, if it helps them be a good person, that's fine with me. And the reason I don't ever end up telling them what I think they think is ridiculous is because they never push me to that point. They just tell me what they believe, and I tell them what I believe, and then we move on with our friendship. All right? They're not pushing me. Long story short, if you don't want us to ridicule your beliefs, don't ask us for our opinion on them. There's a reason we don't believe the same thing as you do, and that reason is because we think what you believe is ridiculous. And if you're going to push us and ask us for our opinion and ask us for our feedback, we will tell you we think what you believe is ridiculous. Now, we could be wrong, you could be wrong. This is a matter of belief, right? That's fine. I don't care what you believe. You can believe in invisible flying pigs. It's fine with me as long as you're a good person. Okay? So I realize my lack of belief is a little strange, but I respect your right to believe whatever nonsense you want to believe, so please respect my right to not believe whatever nonsense I don't want to believe in. All right, just give me that same respect, and if you don't force your beliefs on me, I won't be forced to tell you what I think of your beliefs. All right? Ridicule problem solved. You're welcome.